I prepared to violate the law of the DPRK before coming here, and I deliberately committed my crime.
This is the crazy story of a guy who wanted to remain a prisoner in North Korea. Even when he was given the opportunity to go back to the US as a free man, this guy refused.
We're talking about 24-year-old Matthew Miller from California originally, went to Pyongyang and at the airport tore up his tourist visa and then was claiming asylum in the country.
He said he was determined to remain in North Korea at all costs. His name is Matthew Todd Miller, and he is an English teacher from California. But in his notebook journals, he claimed to have accessed top secret files at US military bases, and that he was on a mission of removing the American military from South Korea. He made all these incredible revelations at a time when he shocked the world by surrendering himself to the North Korean government. He claimed that he came to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea after choosing it as a shelter. He then demanded for asylum and said that in exchange he would share US top military secret, and then made some more shocking revelations, saying,
I prepared to violate the law of the DPRK before coming here, and I deliberately committed my crime.
And that's not all. He also said seeking asylum seemed like a perfect crime, and I thought it would prevent the US from wanting to help me. He was convinced that his wish would either be granted or he would be arrested. Either way, he would be happy because his goal would be achieved. And when asked why he went to all this trouble, he said, I wanted to meet North Korean people face to face in a way that a normal tour would not be enough. He said his greatest fear while coming to North Korea was that they would not arrest him when he arrived. And he also made it clear that he was aware of the risk and consequences of his actions. And so, as you would expect, the North Korean government was shocked by his actions and his words. They even wanted to put him straight on a plane and send him home. And that was exactly when he shocked everyone by refusing to go back to the US. He insisted he would rather be a prisoner in North Korea than be set free. And so, having said all of this, so many questions remain unanswered. Could Matthew Miller be telling the truth about being a spy? Or could he be secretly working for the American government? Was he just completely crazy? Or was it all just some type of a prank? And finally, how did this crazy story even start for him? Well, before ending up in North Korea, Matthew Miller first took a trip to South Korea because his brother was stationed there at the time as a pilot with the US Air Force. While there, Matthew took a job teaching English and even learned some Korean in the process. But strangely enough, while he was in South Korea, he changed his name to Preston Somerset. After that, even more strangely, he suddenly became obsessed with the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Have you ever heard of a clothing store that exists to help people and not make profits? Well, you have to visit our store, Honesty.global, a unique humanitarian clothing where you get to choose who you want to help while buying amazing high-quality clothes. It took us 2 years to set up this store, and I cannot express how proud I am of the designs, the quality, and most importantly, the fact that you can shop with purpose. If you appreciate what we do, please support our charity work by visiting Honesty.global. Back to the video. Of course, with South Korea being so close to North Korea, there is no doubt that he must have heard all the horrible rumors about North Korea and seen reports that North Korea itself admits the country runs labor camps, even though they also insisted that some of the allegations were just wild rumors. They claimed North Korea was fabulous on human rights. Well, it may or may not be a coincidence, but that was the same time Matthew made up his mind to pay North Korea a visit to learn for himself what North Korea was really all about. He even admits that he was expecting to be tortured, but the fear of torture didn't stop him. So he created plenty of drama when he arrived at North Korea's airport, tearing up his visa and wildly demanding for asylum. Unfortunately for him, he was not granted the asylum he was hoping for. Instead, he was arrested and accused of going to North Korea to spy. And this was the point where he was given the option to being deported back to the US. But as I revealed at the beginning, Matthew refused. He insisted on remaining in North Korea. Not knowing what else to do with him, they charged him with the crime of hostile acts under the guise of a tourist, and he was detained for the next 6 months while awaiting trial. During this time, he was kept in isolation and forced to dig in fields 8 hours a day. And then, finally, he was charged in court. At his trial, he was not even provided with a lawyer, and at the end of it, the Supreme Court convicted him. He was sentenced to 6 years of hard labor with no possibility of an appeal. That was when the gravity of his situation finally seemed to dawn on him. He then changed his whole plea from asylum to a cry for help.
The American government is known for having a strong policy of protecting its citizens, yet for my case, there is still no movement.
He finally reached out to the US saying, "I am now requesting help from the American government, the citizens of America and the world to release me from this situation." He also wrote letters to the US Secretary of State Michelle Obama and his family. Dear Secretary of State, my name is Matthew Miller. I am currently in prison in a DPRK. I have written letters to my government requesting help and used the interviews with CNN and AP. However, there has been no movement and I have been sentenced for 6 years. I am now directly writing this letter in hope that someone will become involved with my case and relieve me from this situation. Yes, the North Korean government surprisingly allowed him to be interviewed by CNN. After that interview, his prayer was answered. The US government intervened in his case, and the American Director of Intelligence was sent on a secret mission to North Korea. Thankfully, the mission was successful. He secured Matthew's release after being detained for over 6 months. Matthew was happily reunited with his family, and lots of people were glad to welcome him back, though some insisted he deserved it, and others felt he got what he wanted.
Well, I think it's a wonderful day for them and their family. Obviously, we're very grateful for their safe departure.
But even though it all ended well for Matthew Todd Miller, no one can still say for sure if he was just an average American teacher or an American spy.